A dangerous attempt on the highway in southern Mexico to try to make this long trip slightly easier. It's a deadly risk that's already claimed the life of at least one member of the group. Rafael, a migrant from the Dominican Republic, says he feels lucky to be alive after falling from a freight trailer.
I was running as a truck was passing. I climbed aboard the back and tried to grab on, but I lost consciousness and I fell.
The vast majority of people in this group, traveling in what's referred to as a caravan, are from Venezuela. Despite coming all the way from South America and crossing the infamous jungles of the Darien Gap, many say Mexico has presented the greatest dangers.
Nosotros los migrantes le llamamos a México la casa del terror.
Migrants refer to Mexico as the house of terror. We'd rather cross a jungle 1,000 times than be here. We've been detained or arrested, left without money, and if we go on our own, the cartels are something horrible.
Jose is from Venezuela and Catherine from Peru. Traveling with their 9-month-old son, they're exhausted. Finding food and a place to sleep is a daily challenge.
Muy dolorosa.
It's been painful. We've suffered hunger and thirst. Our child cries because he needs a bottle of milk, and more than anything because of the sun and dehydration.
The group's leaders say they hope media coverage of the journey will bring attention to a worsening migrant crisis playing out across Latin America.
It's been a long day of walking, and migrants are taking a break from the intense heat in the Huixla River. It's going to be a short break because it won't be long before the group gets back on the road.
This may be the largest group of migrants to leave southern Mexico so far this year, but it's only a small fraction of those who make their way toward the U.S. southern border every year.
And Manuel is with us now live from southern Mexico. Manny, where are you? What's happening there right now?
We're in the city of Huixla, somewhere between 50 and 60 kilometers north of Mexico's border with Guatemala. Not a lot has changed since Tuesday when the migrant caravan arrived here in the city. It's now day 3 since they've been on the move. I want to give you a sense of where we are right now. This is a gymnasium, a public gymnasium that's been sort of refitted to accommodate the thousands of migrants that are part of this caravan. We're talking about people really from all over the world, but the overwhelming majority are from Venezuela. The reason why the caravan has sort of ground to a halt until now is because organizers of the caravan have been negotiating with the government, hoping to secure transit visas. These are humanitarian visas that allow migrants to move freely through the country. Without these visas, migrants run the risk of being sent back to southern Mexico, back to the city of Tapachula. The overwhelming majority are willing to wait for those visas. They're quite afraid that if they're unable to attain them, that they again run that risk of being sent back to southern Mexico. One of the things that the organizers were telling people is to not grow desperate. Yesterday, on Tuesday, we saw many people, as you saw in our report, sort of jumping on the back of these freight trucks. We saw injuries of people falling. By the end of the day, unfortunately, we also saw one man who ended up under the wheels of a semi-truck. So they're warning people not to grow desperate. They announced that somewhere around 2,000 people have already left the caravan. Again, grown frustrated with the slow pace. This group can only move as fast as the slowest members of the group, meaning women and children, and there are quite a few families that are traveling as part of this caravan. What we've heard is that somewhere around 650 of these transit visas have been issued. The government has promised to issue 500 at a time, but we are talking about thousands of people. This is not the largest caravan to date, but it's certainly the largest one that we've seen so far this year. What we're also hearing from people is that regardless of whether or not they are able to receive their transit visas today or tomorrow, they're going to continue to walk. We spoke to an elderly woman in her 70s from Nicaragua who told us that she's tired of waiting. She doesn't want to wait for a transit visa. She's going to go in on her own. This is something that is not recommended for migrants traveling. The sense is that it's better to travel as a group. They run many, many risks on their way to the northern border, and everyone here is saying that they are committed to reaching the U.S. southern border.
Al Jazeera's Manuel Rapalo reporting live there from southern Mexico. Manuel, many thanks indeed.